Ready? Okay, we'll go ahead and call the meeting to order. Start with the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, liberty and justice for all.
Father, we come to you, Lord, as people in government. Father, help us to be quick to listen today, slow to speak, Lord, and help our brains, Father, help our brains work in concert, I guess, with our hearts and with your will, Father, so that your work can be done. And that you can be glorified to people today. Jesus' name, amen. Amen. All right. Well, welcome, everybody. Pretty full room today. So first thing on our agenda is county personnel or public comment.
I just got a couple quick things. First one is the finalized numbers from the state for our PVD ratio study. They're basically the same numbers, I believe, that I handed you guys back in March. Just basically stating that we are in compliance. Statistically, statutorily, we will be as well once we get that completed as well. So if you have any questions on that, I entertain that.
What does it take to be in compliance? What number are we looking at here?
The normal you'd like to see for a median ratio at the beginning is going to be between 90 and 1.
This is the category.
Yeah,
Okay.
and then also your COD, they'd like to see under 20. The thing that brings us into compliance, even though ours are a little bit out of those ranges, are our confidence interval. As long as that confidence interval falls within that range, we're good to go. Basically, it's like what we had discussed back in March with the median ratio being at about 87.38. I probably need to be a little more aggressive in setting my values a little higher. I know that's not what everybody likes to hear, but this is basically telling us that we are low.
So then does the vacant lot number at 107, does that say you're high? Is that what that said?
The only ones that they're concerned with really are residential and commercial. Those are the two that those statistics apply to according to USPAP and according to IAAO. So those are the ones that the state is concerned with. It's very hard to get good ratios on vacant land, farm home sites, because you're also dealing with ag land as well, so.
So these are statistical terms and like your median ratio says
Yes.
you're at 87% of what the state thinks
That's out of our sales to appraisal ratio. So it's when something sells, how close to the actual appraisal are we? And we're coming in at about 13% low.
Okay, so if the thing sells for 100,000, then you would have it listed for 87.
Right.
All right. Okay. Okay, that makes more sense. Actuals. Okay. Okay, and then COD, you mentioned that too. What's
Yeah,
that?
that is the coefficient of dispersion, and that's how tightly
Okay.
our appraisals are.
All right. It's been a long time since statistics. Coefficient of dispersion.
So what's the confidence of interval? Is that what the state recommends?
Yeah, that's basically, it's a moving, confine that basically says, this is where we're confident your appraisals come in at, or your statistics come in at. And as long as the confidence interval is within that same thing of under 20, we're good. Or if it's with the ratio, if it's within 90 to 110, we're good.
The state sets that.
Well, that's something that's done through USPAP and through the IAAO. Those are the statistics that they want to see, and those are the long-term things that have been developed through statute. Okay.
Yep, thank you.
Okay, yeah, and the other thing that I have is I would like to request an executive session to discuss non-elected personnel salaries. Um, I think we can get it done in 5, but I'm thinking maybe 10, the outside most. We can always see how it goes.
Okay. So, well, I'll move that we recess to executive session for 10 minutes to discuss non-elected personnel matters regarding salary with 3 commissioners, Mr. Markham. That's it.
That's it.
There's a second? Second. Okay, it's been moved and seconded. All in favor, say aye. 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 All right, motion carried. We'll come back at 8:25-ish, 8:26. You open this morning.
It will be after 10 o'clock. I have two
our work
payments
session.
protests this morning, so.
That'll be over. Okay. Well, we're out of executive session, back into regular, no binding action taken. Guess we'll just be in touch. How's that?
What's that?
We'll
that?
contact you towards the end of the meeting here. Is that all right?
Okay, yeah, yeah, like I said, I've got 2 pops this morning. It'll
Gotcha.
take until about 10, and then after that, I think I'm pretty free.
Okay, right on. Thank you
All
very
right,
much.
thank you guys.
All right.
I know we have, I think, 2 minutes before walk over. Can we take Don up just for a second?
Sure. What's he got?
9 o'clock court, and he's got a agreement. If we can't finish by walk.
1 minute and 52 seconds.
He said this, and I got a copy Friday, made some revisions.
I didn't make
Oh,
copies. Here's,
So.
you can look at that.
With
These are
those revisions, I'm comfortable, and so I don't know that that has the final one, right? You have, or is that the one? Okay.
we need to merge the
Yeah,
two.
so you have the revisions I made, and then Don made some this morning. His are technical as to.
Like the number of doors and that kind
Yeah,
of
so
thing.
that from a legal standpoint, his modifications do not change. What I have, so I'm comfortable from a legal standpoint with it, and then Don will, just from a technical standpoint, will have some modifications that he has in yellow and highlight.
Is that still achievable, November 1? With the delayed start, the completion timeline is no.
Yes, they said it'll only take a month to build the building.
Really?
Yep.
So what you made some changes legally, it looks good. And you're happy with what we got in.
Yes.
Yeah, the one you had has my modifications from a legal standpoint. Don made some this morning from a technical standpoint on
Okay.
size, so those don't modify what I read.
Okay.
Price states, right?
Yes.
Is there still that 10% overage in there, just in case?
Yes.
It's still there.
So at some point, once you've had a chance to look at his today, I think you can make a motion to approve with both modifications combined together. I think you can combine the 2 documents for one signature. That's what I decided to pursue. But I hear it all have it. 3-2 days, so it's.
Yes.
All right. I'll get that in case, well, I don't know how long Walter's there, so I thought, get that in.
No, that's fine. So you're good if we
Yes.
just make a motion to approve. And sign this one.
No, he'll need to sign a new one that
You
Nikki
want, I
signs.
think you will make.
Nikki will
combine
make-
it.
okay, all right, I was
Okay.
trying to read and. Yeah, listen to what you said there, okay. All right. Okay.
But you have your corrections.
He's got them.
All right.
We got through all the bond stuff, everything's.
That's
answered.
what this is about. Still fighting to get a bond.
Still fun. Bond.
Their insurance company is requiring this be signed before they'll issue it, is what I'm told.
Okay, okay, well, in order to, I guess, facilitate here this project at the landfill, I would make a motion. We approve the new contract between county and.
Advertise.
Excuse me, as revised, the contract as revised between the county and BB Brothers Contracting Company. Is there a second? I'll second that. Okay, it's been moved and seconded. All in favor, say aye.
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 All right.
Okay, motion carried.
Okay.
That it?
Yep, nothing else.
2 minutes.
You're right on. We did it. 1:52.
All right.
Thanks, Don.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, have a good day out there too.
No, walk over.
All right, well, we can, we can go down the list and still, we get back on our agenda. Can we go ahead and, nobody's on there, right? Okay. Let's just go to the minutes from June 2nd. I looked at those. Oh, here we go. Never mind. Back there. We can't hear her yet.
Good morning.
Good morning. Good morning.
Are you all in a different room than usual?
We changed the layout.
Or
We
changed,
moved the
okay,
desk.
I thought it looked different. How are y'all doing today?
Just fine, just fine. My name's Lucas Heinen, and to my right here is Bill Pollock. To my left is Richard Lemcool. And I think you can see our county attorney, Kevin Hill, and our clerk, Nikki Lee. So
Yes.
Glad you're
Thank
here.
you. Yes, and good to meet you.
Okay.
yeah, I'm good.
Well, I'm waiting, my partner Greg's gonna be joining us shortly as well. Are you ready for us to get started, or do you have a couple things to wrap up?
We are ready for you to go. Absolutely.
Perfect. Well, I'll give myself an introduction while we wait for Greg. Most of you know who I am, but my name is Jessica Hawkins, and I'm a benefits consultant. So I do help service your group from a day-to-day, any issues that arise, and that could be from the county level or at a member level. And then also just as we evaluate things throughout the year, prepare for the renewal, I would help and support all of those responsibilities. And then Greg looks to be hopping on. Right. Looks like you may be on mute. Greg. There you are.
Hello, good morning, everybody.
Okay, there you go. I didn't know if we had any.
My apologies for being a little late. Sorry to interrupt, Jess. I know they're going through introductions.
Yeah. So I already went, and they did as well. Did you want to give a quick intro as well?
Yeah, sure. I'm Greg Watkins with Watco, Now One Digital. We appreciate your time today. We have been the benefits consultant for Brown County for about 4 years now. We've helped move your plan from a fully insured plan to a self-funded plan, and we're excited to spend some time with you today. And I think the topic is the budget for the upcoming year, and that's what we'll directly get into. So, Jess, I'll turn it back over to you, and we'll kick this meeting off.
Great. And we do want to prioritize what's important to you and discuss the budget. We have a couple other items as well. How much time do you have for us to speak today, just so we can keep that in mind?
30 minutes.
Okay, that will work. I'm going to go ahead and share my screen. Oh, it looks like that function is not working. Is that something that you all would be able to turn that on? Nikki, do you know?
Doing it right now.
Okay, perfect. Oh, it looks like it works now. Okay, perfect. Can you see my screen?
Yes.
Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and skip ahead to the budget just so that we make sure we have enough time for that piece, and then we will circle back to the other items if we have time. So this is the budget illustration that we received, and so we will talk through where we are today and where we project maybe that you'll be based on how the claims are trending, and where we've been last year compared to this year. So with this illustration, you'll see that the 2025 requested and adopted budget for the health insurance plan here is $1,214,725. And then we have the requested budget for the health plan to be $1,365,500. Is everybody in agreement that that's where things are currently standing and what's been requested for next year?
Yeah.
Okay, perfect. So that's what we based our next page off of as we went through this analysis. So this is what we put together to show where we've been and where we are today, and then where we estimate 2026 to be. So with 2024, we looked at your fixed cost. That's the cost for your plan that's guaranteed based on enrollment in the plan, and that's just for your premiums and the cost of Blue Cross to administer your plan. So that was $369,936. And then your claims below $50,000. So we have a $50,000 specific stop loss. for each individual covered on the plan. And so the claims below that are the county's responsibility. Any claims above that, Blue Cross takes liability for. So for 2024, the claims that the county was responsible for was $759,000. We get a benefit of being self-funded with the RX rebates. So when you're fully insured, you do not get rebates, but with self-funded plans, you do. And so based on rebate lag, you receive 2 payments in the first year that equated to $38,437. So then we netted that off of your total cost for the plan, which is the fixed cost and the claims added together. So that was $1,090,967. Now the funding for that year was $961,400. So unfortunately, we did run in a deficit that first year of about $130,000. So, you know, we understand it's important to get together to look at the budget for this year and next, just to try and better project how things may land. And so with the 2025, we've projected the fixed cost to be $453,469, and that's based on current enrollment, which we've outlined here. So for covering 66 employees based on their tier of coverage, that's how we determined your fixed cost. Then the projected claims, again, below 50,000 that the county would be liable for. We essentially took the last 3 months of claims that we've had this year, so mature claims, and took an average and then annualized those. So that got us to $645,957. Then based on the average of rebates that we've had, we annualized those to estimate $81,881 for the year, based on getting 4 payments for rebates. So when we take the total cost and minus the rebates, that gets us to $1,017,545. With the funding that you adopted for this year at $1.2 million, we have that potential surplus of $197,000. So, you know, in a better spot this year, but again, you know, some of that is helping offset that deficit that we had last year.
You have time for a question?
Of course, yes.
Okay. If you look at the 2025 projected claims at 645,957, I heard you say you averaged the last 3 months and then just stretch that for a year. Is that right? Is that how you got that number?
That is, yes.
Is there a difference? So that would have been, I guess, May, April, March. Is there a difference between the last 3 months of the year, October, November, December? I mean, do people's healthcare needs or surgeries or whatever, does that change depending on the time of the year? Does that make sense?
Yes, and it can, yes. Towards the end of the year, more individuals have hit their deductible. So, you know, in theory, the plan ends up taking on more costs as the year evolves because the member responsibility is no longer there.
Okay, so it leads into when I see a 2024 at 760 and a 2025 at 645, I mean, that sounds great, but is the likelihood of that being true, is that pretty high? I mean, we'll actually have lower costs in 2025 than we did in 24.
Well, we are starting off the year in a much better position this year than last year. And I believe that I have put that together and on another page, and I can certainly skip to that here real quick so that we can show you how that's illustrated. So we looked at a year-over-year claims update, looking at January through May of 2024 compared to the same time period this year. And we've had much less medical payments this year for the first 5 months of the year than last year. We also had large claims that had hit the $50,000 specific last year at this time period. We had exceeded that $50,000 for an individual by almost $11,000. So far this year, we've not had any large claims. So again, we're just, in theory, it seems as though this year we're doing much better, that the claims are not as high as they were this time last year.
So far, I mean, the math, so far it's right. It's based on projections.
It
And
is,
yeah, I mean,
yes,
predict the future, I guess. Okay, thank you.
yes, of course. Any other questions before we go on to 2026?
No.
Okay. So then what we did for 2026, again, it's all a projection and estimation, is that we assumed a trend renewal increase of 10%. So, you know, we don't know what your renewal from Blue Cross is going to be, but just based on a trend increase of 10%, we added 10% to the fixed cost and the claims to get the 2026 estimates. And then again had roughly an $80,000 rebates. That number could be higher. Just depends on the drugs that are being utilized by your plan. And then we netted those off again of the total cost. So with this illustration, compared to the funding of 1.3 million, your potential surplus is 236,000. And there are going to be, good claims years, bad claim years. So it's again, all a projection. But based on how things are currently trending, this is what we've estimated.
Uh, 10%, is that pretty standard? That's why you used it? That's just the best estimate?
Yes. So with a trend increase, typically, that's what we're seeing just as healthcare costs go up, the cost of care goes up, we are assuming a 10% increase.
Is Blue Cross and Blue Shield still are they still the preferred provider of insurance? I mean, I hear different things from people in small business that maybe Blue Cross isn't what it used to be.
Yeah, I would say that from a member standpoint, everybody, recognizes the name, likes Blue Cross, and they have majority of the providers and the hospitals are in network with Blue Cross. But we will say that there are employers that have looked at moving away from Blue Cross if they want to get more creative in how to manage care. If you were to move away from Blue Cross, we could do different things like carving out or be able to pick who our pharmacy benefit manager is, maybe put in some different cost containment programs, just different things that we can't do with Blue Cross to try and mitigate risk and costs within your health plan.
So is that what your company does? And forgive me, I'm new here. And I'm going to ride that horse as long as I can get away with it. I don't really understand the full scope of your company and what you do. Are you researching the market, trying to find the best value? Or are you doing whatever we tell you to do? I mean, how's it work?
Yes. So both, we keep up on trends of what's going on in the market, what's available. And when we get together, we try to make those known to you all just so that you're aware of what we're seeing other employers doing, or just things that might be worth considering. But we follow your direction. So if you want us to evaluate the market or look at alternatives, by all means, we will work on your behalf to do that.
Yeah, questions? Okay, so we're coming up on our budget planning and money's tight. I mean, I'm sure you hear that all the time. So I'm trying to understand the county's insurance policy. There's this $50,000 and under claim that we're self-insured and we pay for. Does that mean if there's a $51,000 claim, are we liable for the first 50 and then Blue Cross picks up the 1,000, or do they pick up the entire 51?
No, so you're liable for the first 50 for each individual on the plan. Not every individual on the healthcare plan is going to have $50,000 in claims. But that is, go ahead.
I'm sorry. Is that per participant or per incident per claim.
Per participant.
So in our insurance plan, if we have 60 people on there, I mean, theoretically, we're liable for the first, is that $3 million? If everyone had a $50,000 incident.
Yes.
Okay.
To an extent, you do have a maximum claim liability as well.
Okay.
That is disclosed on a monthly stop loss summary, and we don't have that included in the presentation today. But that is a report that's available to you on a monthly basis through Blue Cross's e-billing website. And that helps you be able to monitor the claims month to month compared to your max liability.
And I assume that comes with a significant cost savings on the insurance side versus if we didn't have that self insurance component. I mean, how big a chunk of money is it? How much are we saving by taking on this exposure ourselves?
Hey, Jess. Hey, Lucas, you're asking a lot of really, really good questions. And I think Jess has provided you an awful lot of good information. Jess, I was looking at our file from the renewal, and I think there's a couple of documents within the renewal document from 2025 that would be very insightful for our meeting today and for Lucas based off a couple of things that he's mentioned. So if you look at that 2025 renewal, and we could pull that up and look at page 3 and page 5. Page 3 would give you, and Lucas, we can send this to you as well. We can send the renewal to you from what we looked at when we did the renewal last year, because frankly, we did have an alternative where we could go back to a fully insured plan, and it did present some savings from a worst case scenario perspective. But we spent a lot of time, most of our clients are going self-funded because of the control that it provides when the claims are good. And then you also have that cap if the claims are bad. The commission decided to go ahead and renew with the self-funded plan, with the idea being that the claims are going to turn. And fortunately, that's what we've seen so far this year. You ask a really good question when you say, well, are the claims always lower in the first half of the year because people are meeting their deductibles and stuff like that? And that is true, but it's not always true. But just, this history will show Lucas and the group what our total claims have been over the last since 2021, which would kind of give everybody an idea as to why we went self-funded. And if you want to go ahead and just kind of point out the totals, and then I'll chime in as I need to, but I know that you've done this so many times that just go ahead and run with it.
Okay. So this is for 2021. This shows you, is it an employee, spouse, or dependent? And then it's showing you claims levels for that time period. So for an example, in 2021, we had one individual have claims between 50,000 and 100,000 that equated to plan paid costs of 50,087. And then we had two with claims over 100,000. And then the total plan paid costs are here. So to give you an idea of, how many individuals are likely going to fall between a certain claims bucket, this is a good way to look at that. So in 2022, we had much a different outcome than that year because we didn't have anyone who went over 100,000. So you'll see the totals up here change. There isn't a 100+ column here because we didn't have anyone hit that. But we had 10 individuals between 10,000 and 50,000 and one between 50 and 100. We had a much better claims year that year in 2022 compared to 2021.
Yeah, and just to reiterate, in 2022, and I think I would focus. I think what she's talking about with the large claims is of value because anything above 50 is paid for by Blue Cross.
Mhm.
Anything below 50 is paid for by Brown County, but there's a limit called an aggregate limit, and that's what Jess was talking about. So it's not 60 employees or really more like 120 when you look at the dependents times 50,000. There's an aggregate limit for the whole group, which we'll get into here in a minute. And that's how that's how your funding is considered. But if you look at the claims, I would ask you to say, let's look at the total claims. So we had 754 in 2021. In 2022, the whole group only had $425,000 of claims. So in that year, Blue Cross put a lot of money in their pocket. They pocketed probably, and frankly, we got a rate reduction. We got a rate reduction from Blue Cross as a result of the claims. But if you look at the next year, it was 841, but we had two claims above two claims above the 50,000 to a total of 274. So 174 of that would have been pooled on the self-funded plan. Um, and then through August, I mean, last year we had a rough year. I mean, last year was the worst year that we had of all the years.
Mhm.
So that just kind of gives you an idea as to, and then if you go over to page 5, I think that'll be a really, really good example of the way the aggregate works. And Jess, I'll let you go ahead and explain this.
So this is looking at where we were in 2024 compared to the 2025 renewal, and then we did look at a fully insured option last year at renewal. So in the blue shows your fixed cost, what you're guaranteed to pay on your self-funded plan. And then the gold bar represents a variable cost, it's your claims. So you are only going to pay that amount if your claims run up to that level. And then Blue Cross gives you a maximum liability. So anything that were to exceed this max funding level, would become Blue Cross's liability for that year. So then in 2025, you can see how the cost increase for the fixed cost was 7.5. We had a maximum claims increase of 16%, but again, that's variable. And then when you're fully insured, you're guaranteed to pay all of this, 1.1 million. There's no ability to have savings. So when you have a good year, when you're self-funded, you can keep money in your bank account if it's not used for the claims. So, this is just a good illustration to show the benefit of being self-funded, because on those good years, you do have the ability to save money when the claims are better.
So is that the 1,373 minus the 1,120,000? So we're looking at $150,000 potential savings. Is that the right way to read that?
Well, that's if you're considering the fully insured versus the self-funded. If you were to go all the way to the maximum, yes, you could say that is a savings opportunity, but also you're only guaranteed to pay the 454 for your fixed cost. So if, nobody had claims the whole year, which we know won't happen, but then that's all that you would pay for your plan was the 454.
I
But
see.
this bucket is for your claims.
Okay.
So this is the variable cost. So this is another savings opportunity where anything that you don't pay between your up to your maximum claims level is money that just stays in your bank account, the county's account.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah, and Lucas, there's two things that I would add to that, just to reiterate, I think, is that 919,000, that's for claims below 50,000. So anything above 50,000 is paid by Blue Cross. So it's 919,000 for claims less than 50. So if we have $1 million claim, only the county's for one individual throughout the entire year, the county's only going to pay $50,000 of that.
Okay.
And the other thing that Jess pointed out that I'll reiterate would be that the fully insured plan does not allow you to get any money back for rebates on
Okay.
the drugs. And the drug rebates are probably going to be, I mean, we're projecting them at $81,000, but they're probably going to be $100,000 this year. So it's almost like you could add $100,000 or take off $100,000 on the self-funded plan. You'd have to add it to the fully insured. So that's yet another reason, frankly, why, I mean, that's money in the pocket of Blue Cross if it's fully insured. That allows for more, more transparency, if you will. But I mean, I will say, I mean, that maximum funding level on the fully insured was very competitive. I mean, it was compelling to look at that and say, should we go back to a fully insured plan? But you forfeit an awful lot of the opportunity to save money in the good years, and I think that's why the commission decided. I think I don't know if it would. I'd say it was based on our recommendation, but we worked long and hard to get to a plan like this. And typically, you're going to have one bad year and a couple good years or a couple bad years in a row. And the problem is when you're fully insured and you have a bad year, they're going to give you a 25 or 30% increase. And then it's like try to get that money back is very difficult. That's why most companies nowadays, I mean, they're going self-funded because fully insured, it seems like it's a better way to go, but the reality of it is it's never, I mean, it's one-sided. And I mean, they're never going to lose. If the claims are 50% of the premium, they're still going to ask for a rate increase. So I think this is a better strategy. But like Jess was saying, I mean, we've been talking and a lot of our book of business. I mean, it's probably 60 to 70% of our book in Kansas is with Blue Cross or a carrier. The other 40% is with a third party administrator on a self-funded basis. And that is what we do. I mean, we can help you evaluate all sorts of different strategies. But Lucas, what we've had with a lot of our clients, not all of them, but a lot, two out of every three, they don't like leaving Blue Cross. The employees don't like leaving Blue Cross, and I understand that. I mean, they do a good job on the claims side, and in general, I think there's a feeling of comfort level when you have the blue card. Um, but that's our job is to help you evaluate alternatives when it comes right down to that. And we're not married to anybody but you. I mean, we work for our clients, not for any of the carriers, if that makes sense. So, if you wanted to explore different self-funded alternatives, by all means, we can. And that's something that we do pretty regularly with all of our clients.
Okay. Well, I appreciate that. And my asking you questions kind of ran out the clock. We do have a 9 o'clock appointment here that we need to take.
Yeah.
So we didn't get through this presentation. Do you have time in your schedule, maybe next week or the week following to kind of continue this discussion, or are we on some sort of deadline here that we need to?
No, of course. Yeah. I mean, we can jump on. We'll get with Nikki and look at our schedule, and by all means, we can get back on any time. But it's been really great to get to know you and see everybody else today. So let's get on another time, either next week or the following week, and continue our conversation.
Okay, wonderful. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Have a great day.
Have a great day.
Okay. Well, that was fun. Jerry's here, so we have a 9 o'clock. We want to call an executive session for non-elected personnel matters related to evaluation for 10 minutes with the three commissioners and Jerry present. Okay, no, I don't think so. Just us four. Okay. And it's been moved and seconded. All in favor, say aye.
All right.
Aye. Okay, we'll come back at 9:10. All right, we're out of executive session, back into regular, and there was no binding action taken. So we ran out the clock on the Watco. We'll get back on the agenda here. We got a 9:15. We were looking at the minutes. We almost got to the minutes, so let's go there. Now. Okay, is there any additions or corrections or comments on the minutes from June 2nd's meeting?
For the 6/2/2025 minute.
Okay,
That's second.
moving second, all in favor, say aye.
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 Okay, motion carried. Accounts payable,
Mm,
I had a question on, there was a couple, it's a national sign for 3,000 give or take. Is that for multiple sign or is that just one?
Those were for our commercial use. Still commercial use traffic,
Okay,
because we have a whole. I think where they were.
so that's a stack of signs. That's not one sign for 32.
Yeah, someone had the resolution printed on it.
Okay, I heard of
That's
that.
the only way we could. Force it, get those,
Folks.
printed.
That makes sense. It says national sign for $3,230, closed to through traffic sign. And then closed to through traffic with warning sticker, I guess. And I just wanted to know if one sign costs $3,200, that's an
No,
expensive sign,
that's For,
multiples.
20 signs and 40 posts
Oh. It's not bad.
for one district, and then the other one is for 25 signs and 50 posts.
Okay. All right.
3,200 is for District 3, and these are those, the road, this road closed with through commercial
Yeah.
traffic.
So a sign and a wood post or the metal post or
Yeah,
metal post? Well, okay. And those are reflective signs?
Yeah.
Okay, that's new. I thought they'd be more expensive than that. So you need 20 of them for
and
that.
these, they have to actually make, specially make them because this has the resolution number on the bottom,
Yeah,
so.
okay. Well, that's an easy question. Any more questions on accounts payable?
Once since you're on the road and bridge, the skid shoe, was that for the mower or what was the skid shoe for? Looks like that ought to be it just wears out because it drags on looks like you ought to be able to just. I'd just take that off and weld a plate on it and go put it back on and go on. I was doing it, but
What are you talking about?
a skid shoe for $245.
Oh,
It seems like that's an awful lot.
well, I pay, yeah, it is. You're right. I pay more for that, for a plastic one for my bean head. So,
But they,
Is it a metal one or is it a plastic one? But anyway,
but I,
so that's just one comment. I thought that was real.
you said that was on the mower.
That's what.
Sure, taking a beat.
Yes,
Out of
that
our
was-
attention.
So
No, it may be plastic too. It might be that high.
yeah, I
That's
know.
not-
I don't. Anyway,
It stinks. I know what you mean.
I just thought that was just metal. I mean, buy a piece of metal and weld it on there and get more good out of it. But you don't have to buy new parts on everything. But just wearing the metal out, you can put a new piece of metal on there and weld it on there and go. So the next one was on a maple lawn service for the courthouse and the jail. What,
Oh, I spring, that's what, shape
spring?
on her. Like, on the greater than quite sure for. I don't-
Okay.
Okay.
Where was that? Was that for here? That you saw? Where's that being?
Oh,
They're
one,
training y'all.
it was
Yeah.
656 for the courthouse and 158 for the jail.
Anything else?
That's all I got.
Okay.
Question, Brad.
Well, I'm glad I asked about the signs in the post. That's a good deal. Well, then there's a motion to approve. I'll move we approve accounts payable from June or for June 9th.
I'll second that.
It's been moved and seconded. All in favor, say aye.
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 All right.
Okay. Motion carried. All right, we have a 9:15. Are you Melanie?
Yeah.
Okay, hi, welcome. You are right up on our agenda. Yeah, come on up and sit in the chair here. We are nice people.
We can,
And
we can hear you better.
yeah, we welcome you here. Thank you.
Yep.
Watch. There you go. Come on up. Morning.
No, Peter,
Good to see you.
and we're building a house. And I sent my application in to the revitalization application. Into the appraiser via email, because I was trying to get it in. Quicker, yes. Because I knew it was coming up on some deadlines and, so she called back to say I needed to pay the $35 and yet I'll send that. And then she asked if, work had started and I said, yes, they poured the footers yesterday. She said, well, we'll probably have to deny it. Because work has already been started. And we got to see it. And she called me back and said, they didn't. But I can come to the commissioner. So. The reason in the delay for, to getting my revitalization application, Edelman's estimate, was waiting and I've been calling and. I'm getting to get me something for a long time. A month, probably at least, and, I finally just made a guess and sent my application in and then my concrete guys got there quicker than I thought. And then they got done quicker, so. My question is, can you make
An exception here.
an exception? We have done other projects and turned in revitalization. And I honestly can't remember if we can start it yet or not. I know that, Fairwood is acceptable. So. It's a big, really, if I can get out. I'm gonna be in the county for a long time, so I'll be paying property tax well past the 5 years. My other question is, if I would have mailed it in with the application fee and they would have reviewed it, do they really come out and check? I don't know if they do, but I do have one other case that I know of that the work was already started and they allowed the revitalization to be approved.
Okay, so Fraser's office sent you here. And forgive me for a Monday morning, we didn't have the time to ask the questions. What kind of authority the commission has. So I'm just gonna look to these guys and the clerk. And has this happened before? Or
I know that. I'm not sure.
Remember handling
uh,
any of my stuff. I'm trying to recall, could have, but.
we're not passing the buck. We just wanted to
Sorry,
make sure we're doing it.
last week that than last year.
So when I
You know what
read, when I read our NRP, and I went to some other counties like Lynn County and some other ones, and they're all different, but they're all sort of the same. And it says here that, you know, it should be done before construction is commenced, I believe is what they say. One of them is a little better. I think ours is kind of vague. It said should be applied for before any construction is. That was a different county, but here it's right here. But what I'm after is a clear understanding and idea of the power that this commission does or does not have. And can we ask Steve or call him, or I mean, how does that work? Can I just run up there and see what he's? I know he said he had he's got some things going on right now.
What it says on the list, I'll let you know. All you do is zero one. Wrong.
Okay. And you guys have never done this before.
My feeling is that's why I don't like the revitalization plan, because it picks and chooses who it applies to. It doesn't apply to everybody. If it's really there or apply to anybody. What? Right,
15,000 is the minimum.
right, but just because you don't come in here and apply before you started, why does that? Yeah, so my feeling is we need to keep our taxes low enough that people would want to build anyway without that. But I don't, that's just my opinion. I mean, the revitalization thing is coming up for renewal, is my understanding. And so if it comes up for renewal, we still honor everybody that we have said we would, but ask you, Molly, what's your feelings? Is that something that's really beneficial to you? Evidently it is, or you wouldn't be in here. I mean, I can see it's going to save you a lot of money to get it. Right.
Yeah.
And well, you can see it's not easy to apply for it. You gotta do a lot of paperwork and a lot of.
So if I read this thing correctly, if I read, and just, I'm thinking out loud here, don't draw any conclusions, Sean. When I read, so our appraiser and their staff, by the book here, they're in the right. I mean, because the form wasn't there, the money, okay. So, but if I look at this from the side of I'm in your shoes, I'm so darn close. I was waiting on an estimate. And I've done this before, and I'm, you know, and I want to take part in this county revitalization program. I'm like, well, you know, surely we can meet somewhere in the middle. What I'm trying to convey here is that I don't fully understand the power, if any, that this board has to do anything with this. And I know they sent you down here, but our appraiser is in a meeting right now with someone else, and but I don't, this has got to be stressful for you, and I'm not trying to draw it out. I just want to know that if we can do something, you know, I want to work and try to do something, but if we can't, then I don't want to lead you on. Does that make sense?
I understand I didn't follow the rules. And I emailed them, and so they didn't have to be in time, and.
Sure.
Yes. And that stuff already started. I just. We're gonna be here for a while.
Sure.
We're gonna continue to invest in county.
Sure.
We're gonna continue to build buildings and make improvements. Our family is moving in. I mean, we're here for the county. I understand that the county's gonna lose out on 75% of my property tax for 5 years. But I'm gonna be here longer than 5 years to continue to pay in on property that I already own. are paying the county for property I already own, so. That's why I'm wanting this 5-year return for. Cause I don't know how else to turn about property tax. The county taxing property that I already own, so yeah, that's a little bit of a deal for me, but. And I understand.
You've stated your case very well. I mean, you have. What I'm trying to communicate to you, and I'm not doing a very good job, is that we need to be able to ask, and maybe even our county attorney, who's busy also, which, I mean, doesn't help you, and I'm sorry to put you in this spot, but we just need to figure out what we can and can't do as a commission. I mean, if we have the authority to discuss this and override the appraiser's office, well, that's a whole new avenue. But if we don't, I mean, I don't want to make promises we can't keep. So, I mean, it's going to take at least a half an hour to get to talk to the appraiser. That's when he said he'd be available again. I'm not sure about our county attorney. He said he was in court at 9 o'clock. So, I mean, I don't want to stretch this out any longer for you than it has to be, but could you give us another hour, do you think? Okay. Okay. I mean, that's, you should be able to have some sort of answer for you between now and then.
Yeah. The appraiser. That's right. The appraiser sent me down to.
Sure.
What was that purpose for?
I'm sure he knows. All right. And that's the trouble. When we have this meeting on Monday morning, you know, and we just didn't have time to ask him the question.
Guys, I'll be appraiser back and said. What's this gonna become?
Sure. Sure. I don't want to stretch this out any longer than I have to, but we do need to talk to them before we can give you a full and complete answer. Is that all right? Okay. All right. Thank you
Yep.
very much. Okay. We will move on down the agenda here to item number 4. I have a Pony Express resolution. Byway, excuse me, resolution. So it talks about this is the Pony Express Historic Byway. And it talks about a corridor. I didn't see anywhere, and if I missed it, I apologize. What is the corridor? Is it just the highway? Are these highways?
So I assumed it was.
And does that mean the highways and then the state right away and nothing extended beyond that?
It's,
See. Okay, so the word corridor, that's one of those red flag words. And I'm sure it's nothing, but you just never know.
right, that's a good question.
So, really?
Just like Kevin looked at you.
Yeah. Kansas statute 68-2233. I should have checked that out.
It looks,
You did it. Yeah.
it looks like there's limited on some signs you can put up there, be the main thing, I think. There's one billboard out there on the highway there. One thing, yeah. But sounds like you have to have a license to put a sign up and you gotta pay a fee. I don't know how much that would restrict. My question is, who was a local advocate group that submitted the application? Anybody know who that was? Who proposed this?
being submitted consisting of your representatives of the Kansas Department of Transportation, Kansas Tourism, Kansas Historical Society, to develop guideline policies regarding the definition of the Kansas City historic violence. So state of Kansas is involved in transportation.
Is she just representing herself or is there a group that she's representing?
Yeah, Point Express. Okay, so this. We're under no timeline here either, not to just bounce it, but I know Connie pretty well. I'd like to call and ask her. She said, I knew this was coming. I didn't know when. So she did. I just want to know, I want to know the what and the why now. And now that we have it in front of us, can we put it on the schedule for the next meeting? Decision on. It's probably nothing, but when I get into state statutes about signs.
So I assume they'd put up signs and designated as a scenic route or something.
Some of that on Pony Express route, yeah.
So
Is it okay with the group here to just push it to next week? To give you all.
Curious if other counties are got the same thing.
Okay.
appreciate it. Kind of goes, doesn't exactly follow the route, but as much as probably as you can, keep it
Yeah.
on the highway.
Okay, we'll do that. And noxious weed solid waste building contract, we've already done. And so then we have some month end. What's that month end report? Yeah, information. Okay. Okay, and then the District 2 truck bids. I guess anyone have any questions on the month end reports?
Oh,
No. Okay. All right.
going,
District 2 truck bids we got in front of us. If it's all right with the group too, I looked online, this Kenworth in Colorado Springs. And that exact truck exists in 8-9 dozen extra spots and inspect exactly the same. So there's no real rush to get a truck like that. I mean, there's plenty of them out there. And it listed for 214,000, I think, give or take. So he did knock some off of his price at the bid. But what I'm telling you is I think those trucks are not a dime a dozen, but they're readily available. Yeah, we got, I really just want to punt on this. I think we need to go a different direction with equipment. I'm not sure the county is best served by buying new dump trucks when other sources for lightly used machinery exist. And I think we have an opportunity to save some money. You know, maybe buy a truck with 50,000 miles on it with a little use on it, and we could potentially save, you know, that 40 to 50 to 60,000. And if we can, we probably should. So that's just my thinking.
I think we're coming out of when COVID hit, couldn't find the new phone, and now they're coming back around.
I think the equipment market.
There for 2 or 3 years, found a good use, but they're buying them deep, the new price was considerably higher.
so the price you had was,
That's for the Mac.
and that's what you said was a cut price, right?
No, I was looking at the Kenworth.
Okay, Kenworth, okay.
I didn't look for the Mac. I figured at the $30,000 difference, we probably wouldn't have looked at the Mac. And
Okay,
it did have snowplow
that's right.
attachments or settings, but I think we can move the brackets over from the international. So when we took our road and bridge tour and saw all the equipment, the county has quite a bit of equipment. Some of it varies from shop to shop. But we're not short at this time, we're not short of trucks. And I know the one that we're looking to replace, it's a problem child in District 2 and it needs to go away. Because it's just, they're having a lot of trouble with that truck. Spent a lot of money on maintenance and it was a problem truck from the beginning. I just don't want to buy a new truck. I just don't think it's the right thing to do. So that's where I'm at.
usually on the used product, we have the discretionary. The likelihood that the truck would not be available at a later date, you know, if we found it easy to go on it. We try to get three almost similars, but what we're saying is if we find one on Purple Wave or somewhere that we want to bid on, and this one's probably not going to be available. You know, timing manner, we put prices that we could bid up to. Sometimes we don't, sometimes we haven't.
So auction sites are different. There are equipment location services that will find you, tell them what you want, and they will find it across the nation from like inventory closeouts or joint venture, we call it dissolutions, and we're gonna hear more about this after in the work session, I believe, where we can actually have someone source these things for us, a very specific make, model, all the specs, and they can find them without doing an auction site. They'll rate them by, you know, they either they rate them themselves or they pay people to look at them. You know, if it's in New York State, you know, they pay somebody to rank them between, you know, just say 1 and 10, with 10 being the best and 1 being the worst. And those are people that'll stand behind those recommendations. And I mean, I think there's other ways to do this where we can save some money. And, you know, we got a road crew looking for a truck. We've got law enforcement looking for 2 cars. I mean, if we could make some sense here in this item, we say 50,000 here, that's a police car. Restaurant close. And I think we're in that situation where we need to try.
Right. So when we bought that last truck from down Wamego, I mean, they've been looking for one for quite a while, and that's when one showed up. They were here for $35,000. It's no problem. It's all
Oh, you're mad.
Yeah. I mean, wasn't available when they first started looking for it, but they did wait until there was one that was, they thought was reasonable.
Right.
So, yeah, I agree with what you're saying. So I'm saying, trying to say. With our budget the way it is, I don't believe we can afford a new truck like that.
Yeah, I want to wait. I'm putting a lot of stock in when Scott Wood comes back on the 18th. We go through this budget and see where the numbers fall in. And I don't want to deny a road department piece of equipment if they desperately need it, like they had one down. And I don't deny that they need to update it, the one they have, because it spends too much time in the shop. I think there's a better way of doing this. And I know on my farm, I mean, I can't always buy new and $200,000. I mean, that really don't buy you much on farm anymore, but I would much rather spend 150 and buy something that's a year or two old, but you know, a few thousand miles on it. I just think that's money we can save, and we should. We are Brown County, Kansas, the United States of America, and sadly, we just can't afford new stuff. I mean, we're going to have to be in the good used market on things where we can be. Certain things you can't buy used and with any security, but certain things you can. So I would make them, if we even have to, I would just push this away and just, we took a bid, we have the right to refuse. I would make a motion we refuse if we need to, or we just don't take any action on it, it goes away on its own. Okay.
Motion on.
Okay, and we're not putting it completely to bed. We're just gonna see if we can look at this a different way. And if I'm speaking out of turn, and I don't think I am, that truck will be there next month. It'll be there 6 months from now, and I think we have opportunities to do a better job. So that's where I'm at on there. All right, okay. Now. The clock says 20 till 10. Is there anything else to come in front of the commission here? And I'm looking at this contract for the noxious weed solid waste bill. This is not it? Okay. All right, thank you. Did you get a chance?
I read what was sent
It
out.
was up there.
I don't know what it changed exactly.
And Kevin had some changes highlighted. So this is an unusual project for the county. I want to say, as a commissioner, I was a little confused on the bonding side of it, but that just because of a certain dollar figure, right? Totally normal, just we didn't see it coming. And when we did, or when it was made known, then that's why we had the contractors in here last week. We thought we took care of it. But now find out that we didn't, so now we're doing it again. Nothing materially has changed in the bid other than it won't be RFS Construction. Now they have a partnership with BB Brothers Contracting. But basically the same people are involved. Is that right?
Yes.
Yeah, it's going under a different name for insurance purposes and everything's on the up and up. It's just complex. And nothing changed, so. And we went ahead and did it anyway. I mean, we made the motion to approve, so now I'm just gonna sign. We're all gonna. I'm just going to sign here on the back of it, so did you? In good shape. And I guess I'm the authorized representative, correct? 6. Okay, is there anything else to come in front of us? No? Did you have anything for us as far as road and bridge? Believe it's taken care of. Do you have any, just this totally off the wall, the traffic counters? Did we hear anything about them? Any reports or? Right on.
I'm still figuring out exactly how to get it formatted, correct. I'm working with the guy that sold them to us.
Okay. Okay.
So I will be bringing you a report.
Okay, wonderful. I totally put you on the spot. That's not what I had to do. Is there, so we got these signs for the no through traffic, heavy trucks. So I mean, I assume we bought those with the intention of placing them.
Right.
Okay, so do we have a plan for where those go? Or
I will, so.
just at certain entry points? Is that what we're targeting? Okay,
There are certain,
okay. And so that resolution is, I mean, pretty old. Is that from the
81.
81? Okay.
Actually, still some existing signs out there, some have been destroyed, some have been, read them and.
So when we put these signs up, do we communicate with the sheriff's department then to? Okay,
I left it, no. But hold on.
okay, so that's a topic we need to discuss then with him. So for the benefit of the people, they couldn't see your facial reaction like we could, so. Anyway, okay, we'll talk to him. We'll talk to him. Okay.
My question is, putting those signs up, is that something that's gonna help with? We need to talk to Warren about that,
But,
but like on rainy days, maybe that's something.
sorry.
Maybe on rainy days or something, that's something if they want to do,
Right.
they can work on. I mean, rather than sitting them home. I mean, I don't know.
All right, we're mixing, yeah,
That would be something to be communicated.
we're sending mixed messages now, so, but yeah, we were on the understanding that the road, or I was of the understanding that the road and bridge summer helped when the chip seal crew was going. And then when, if a rainy day or an equipment breakdown, maybe you finish out the day, but if you're down the next day or the next, following days, they stay home.
So I'm sorry, like,
So I don't want to send mixed messages, but
right, so erase what I said.
okay. Okay, thank you. Wonderful. Thank you very much. All right. Did you hear that? Yeah. So I think the attorney called or talked to our clerk here and said he can't recall a time when the commissioners overturned an NRP decision. So now she's going to be in contact with the appraiser, try to get more information from him.
Like, probably will not have, you know, he does. Chance.
But the trouble is, then we make her sit and wait for a week, not knowing one way or the other. I hate to do that. He's done? Hey, all right, wonderful. Okay. All right, let me look here. Okay, anything else to fill the idle time here?
So the bridge at Fairview looks like it's pretty well done. I don't see too much more that they can. The deck's board, it's evidently they took the cover off of it, it's evidently it's secured enough, and we got the forms out from underneath it. Gravel's up there and the guardrails are up.
Okay.
I don't know what else there is to do on it, but
Probably the 30 or 40 days if they have to wait for them to cut on it. I don't know when that time starts, but to let it cure, both the bridges, anyone done our district at least a month before they let anybody
okay. But
go across.
in a couple of weeks since it's been poured, I guess so.
Is there anything on our checklist of? Okay, I know we have one here. On my computer, under that, it just says it's empty. Is that? Yeah. Okay. That's fine. Yeah, all right. Yes, so. Do we do this? And open. Okay, we have it. All right, so my question for you is, on the NRP, we have one that got denied. And it's for Melanie Teeter, who's in the room in the back. And we understand that she was in discussion with you and that the appraiser's office sent her down here. And we don't know why. So fill us in.
The interview was denied because construction had begun before we had signed paid application in our office.
Mhm.
That's basically what the plan states. That's what we provide.
Okay. So then why, can you answer that? I mean, why did you send her down here? Is there something this body can do about that
I
decision?
believe that you guys can override it. I don't really know. It's like I've said before, this is not our program in the appraiser's office. We're following the rules that are set forth by us. I don't feel that I can step outside those rules.
Okay.
So beyond that, I'm not sure who, but I think, and I would have to read the plan again, but I think that you guys were mentioned in the plan as far as being able to, I don't know.
What'd you say?
To the commission,
Okay,
which is
so,
why we sent them down.
okay, so if I read this correctly, and I'm looking at all the paperwork, the appraiser's office to the T did what they were supposed to do.
Correct.
All right, so what you're saying is that you didn't feel like you wanted to step outside the confines of the
Right,
NRP.
because what you get into once you have construction started is, where's the point where I can no longer bend those rules, so to speak? I don't want to be in that position. Mine is if there's construction other than dirt work, which actually even the representatives that you guys had in here the other day said even dirt work they're not supposed to be doing. Which is not something we really were aware of, I guess, but we always allowed dirt work to be done as long as building structures have not been started.
Mhm.
So the question then becomes is now I've got to make a judgment call. Where along the lines of those construction plans or the construction, do I say enough's enough? I don't want to do that. That's not what we're there for.
In this instance, where we are kind of, I mean, we're in the in between. I know we've crossed the line officially, but we're sort of in the gray area. So does it create any potential conflicts with anything done in the past? As far as if we made a decision one way or the other to go over your head, what does that do? Does that change any projects that were on the fence before? In your
I
opinion?
mean, as far as the decisions that we've made, I don't believe so.
Okay,
I mean, it's one of those where we've always told people you can't start construction until we've been out there for physical inspection. But you also have to have your application turned in with the application fee for this to be active.
Mhm.
So without those two things, we don't activate an NRP on a parcel.
okay. Oh, okay. Is there something we can do in our NRP, and I know it's up for renewal, is there something we can do in our NRP plan as advertised to the public that maybe is more clear about the confines of this? As far as when you start, what you can do, what you can't do, who you talk to, things like the estimate, the cost estimate, Steve, on this sounds like was the holdup. Couldn't get a number because I think they wanted
Right.
they wanted a specific number. Is that number, can it just be a wild guess because you're going to get a number anyway?
I mean, yeah, I mean, it doesn't have to be 100% specific because let's face it, plans change all the time.
Okay,
I don't know of a project that we've had recently where the ending number matches what they give us at the beginning, because the beginning is always an estimate, because things go wrong, they always do.
Mhm.
So for us, yeah, that initial thing is for us to just get something on the books so that we know, here's what you're planning on doing, here's what the planned costs are. If it goes over that or it comes under that, that's fine. We don't hold you to that number.
okay.
So
Okay.
that's not something we've ever done.
So maybe in our new plan, if we decide to go that way, what I'd like to see is more of I don't know. I mean, layman's terms is not the right thing, but just something that's clearly communicated to people, because a lot of folks don't know about our NRP. Talk to a few business owners here in town who've done complete, and you're like, did you
Yeah.
file for that? Well, no, I didn't.
Well, and the thing of it is like I say, number one, it's not the program that the appraisers department is
Sure.
responsible for.
You just have
We
to
implement
implement
it.
it. Yeah.
But my group is really proactive about if they know somebody is doing something or going to do something, to kind of tell them, hey, this program's available for you,
Mhm.
even though it's more work for us and, whatever, but we want to do what we can to, to promote that.
Okay.
Like I said, as far as us going outside the rules, I don't want to really be put in that position because like I said, then it becomes a judgment call.
And you shouldn't be. I mean, from what I understand, you guys did everything to the line.
Yes.
All right.
We did it as we understand it according to the application and the pamphlets and the plan.
The hiccup I'm having, and I'm doing all the talking here, which I know is a bad habit. Do you have something to say?
So what percentage of the improvement projects in the county do you think get on this plan? Or do you have any guess?
I really couldn't tell you without running a query and looking at
I
that.
know that's kind of.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, the one thing that I would go back to is that even the representatives that you guys have had come in and talk about this, they're even a little more stringent than what we have been in basically stating that they're not even supposed to do dirt work at that point. We've never since the time I got here in 2019, I don't think we've ever been that stringent, because for us, dirt work really does not add to the value of a building that's going up. But anything beyond that, that's adding value, then that's where, that's where we've kind of said, we can't go beyond that.
Sure, sure. So the dollar amount here, the threading the needle on the timeline, because we were cutting it close. And the earlier than anticipated start of construction. What I want to know, Mr. Markham, is if the commission has the authority to make a different decision than you, that what I want you to know is we acknowledge full well that it's not a condemnation of anything that you did as the appraiser's office, because you did it according to the letter of the program. I mean, your thumbs up the whole way,
Right.
right?
Right.
You did nothing wrong. And
Right, and that was exactly why we would have referred them to you guys, because you are the overseeing body on it.
okay,
And if for whatever reason you wanted to make a different decision, then that's on the commission.
and it doesn't
not on-
reflect on you. That's what I'm trying to say, that as many times as possible, because I don't want you to feel like we're,
Right.
you know,
Completely understand that. My thing is I will reiterate is that if you go down that rabbit hole, where do you stop? That's my only caution. Because it's the same thing that we go through in my office with that same thinking is, well, we allow this, well, why aren't we allowing that? And, there has to be a stopping point, and at some point, somebody's gonna be aggrieved by that, and they're gonna come back and say, well, you allowed this, what is the difference? Where is that line? And if you don't have a hard line, then you pretty much kind of have to allow almost everything. And at that point, then you get into, well, then do we retroactively let someone come in who's already finished the project? And I've had that. I think it was Mr. Horner over here that built the storage facility over by the railroad tracks. Never submitted an application, came in, swore up and down that he did, and why can't I get it put on now? We have no application, we have nothing, and he was one that I referred to the commission as well, because that's not my call to make,
I see.
you know?
Okay, so you have done this before. We just couldn't remember.
Well, yeah, that one was probably 3 years ago.
Long time ago. Okay.
Yeah, I mean, but it was one that he would have been well into the project before he ever got that far to the point where, that was there. But yeah, mine is that if we go down that rabbit hole, it's where do we draw the line? Where does that stop?
Sure.
So, that's the other thing, and that may be something to discuss with the committee that actually handles this program and has this program, is that do they feel like that should be something we do?
Okay,
Because then it could be written into the plan, although I'm not sure that my office would be comfortable, again, drawing that line and making those decisions.
and we want you to be comfortable with it. All right, so that's perfect. I thank you for coming down, and I just want to clarify again that at least the feeling of this board is your office did everything,
Right.
on the up and up. All right, so what we're looking for here is some direction from us to make a decision on this. The rabbit hole argument is sound. I look at it and I'm no good at hiding my cards. I'm terrible at poker. I look at this and I think, good golly, if she would have just told them they hadn't started construction, it probably would have been fine. So we hate to have someone get slapped for being honest, but
Yes, we do a pre-construction inspection.
so what if I'd have said, Steve, that I haven't done any construction,
Mhm.
but I think they are literally showing up right now. Would you have hustled out there and took a peek,
We
I
would do
guess?
our best to, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, we don't want anybody to miss out on it that can get in on it. In fact, we have had people that have called us and we've gone out same day.
Guilty. Yeah, I've done it too. Guilty as charged. And a long time ago, but guilty as charged.
I mean, again, a lot of that depends on where my people are and what's going on, but yeah, we normally would try to divert and get out there so that these things can be taken care of.
Okay. All right. Any more questions for him while he's here? You got some?
Well,
No.
I don't want to put you on the spot anymore.
No,
I already have.
that's fine.
No, you've done very well. You've explained it very well. I appreciate you coming down.
No
All right,
problem.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
All right, any more discussion?
I just hope, I think the three of us need to sit with Kevin. We'll see, make sure before we make any decision. Well, I still say, yeah.
So what do you think? I didn't hear you.
Just said what he said, the policy decision. Finding one out, and then it opened up the door. To other people. Work around. Right.
Well, a great risk. I don't wanna, I'm just gonna make a motion that we go ahead and extend this NRP to Lonnie and Melanie Teeter. They didn't meet the qualifications according to the appraiser's office, but if we have the power, they were close. And it's just a matter of 24 hours. And the intention of the program is to stimulate economic development, new construction, and I think this one falls in that category, and I think they should qualify. And I'd put that in form of a motion. Is there a second?
So. Quite get my thoughts here, but,
You're all right. Take your time.
I don't think it's fair to take some tax, I mean, if you look at our tax or budget, there's a lot of tax dollars that are not being paid because of this program. So to keep somebody off that was intending to be on it, I don't think that's right. So I second your motion.
You seconded? Okay. It's been moved and seconded to approve this NRP application. All in favor, say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Okay, motion carried.
I just hope that.
$35 needs to be paid though, so. And I want it to be reflected, if we open the door of Pandora's box, that I open that door, and we will. To me out, I guess.
And make sure the intent was there to apply.
Okay, and then again, we fully state that the appraiser's office did just what they needed to do. And if the commission had the ability to make changes, that's what we did. So I don't want any negative about the appraiser's office, because to the letter of the policy, I mean, they followed it. So just really want that clearly stated. Okay, is there anything else now? I've got everything checked off on my agenda. Is there anything else to come up before the commission, before we go into a work session? We did just have Mr. Martin Jim here, and I hate to call him right back, but do we want to talk to him? What do you guys think?
It would not hurt.
5 or 10.
Second.
I believe so. Yes, I believe so. This is new territory for us. So I believe that's what you do. All right. All right. Yep. Okay. Nikki, would you call him back, please? saw on our accounts payable, we did the Lloyd Group for a chunk of money. It's just, he splits his payment up. Okay. Okay, that's what he does then. Did you sign the minutes? There's the minutes.
Takes me a while to read them all in.
Back here. There you go. We're just waiting for the appraiser to come down, so. He's back. All right. Okay, what? Yes, I would make a motion to go in executive session. 10 minutes to discuss non-elected personnel in regards to salary, I guess, negotiations. For 10 minutes. Is there a second?
Second.
Okay, moved and seconded. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. With just 3 commissioners and Mr. Martin. Come back at 10:19. So. We're out of executive, back into regular, no binding action taken. However, I will make a motion to go back into executive with three commissioners and Mr. Markham present for 10 minutes for non-elected personnel matters, salary negotiations. Is there a second?
Second.
Okay, moving seconded, all in favor, say aye.
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 Motion carried.
Yeah, I mean, I guess that would not be. I
I'm
mean,
sorry. Yeah.
yeah.
Okay, we're out of executive session, back into regular, no binding action taken. You can continue your sentence though, if you can keep it kind of
I
benign.
mean, for me, I don't think that that's, to me, it's not a huge deal, but I have to take my own consideration.
Understood.
Into it as well.
Understood. What's the feeling of the guys to my left and right here? Do you see it differently? We'll wait till.
They need to come to some kind of agreement, but a few, for a week.
Well, I mean, it's essentially, we're putting it off for 2 weeks because next week I am out of town.
Oh,
You're gone. You're not here on the 18th.
That's right, that's right.
okay.
That's the reason.
Yeah,
Okay.
Maybe we need to talk or something.
All right. Okay, well. It is turning into the eternal meeting, but that's fine. You want 5 minutes with just commissioners? Is that what you mean, or do you want Steve in here yet?
Let's go. Commissioner.
Okay,
5 minutes.
5 minutes. Executive session to discuss non-elected personnel matters, salary negotiations. 5 minutes, yep. Come back at 10:37, give or take. Oh, been moved and seconded, I guess. All in favor, say aye. Aye, sorry. Rich made the motion, or I made the motion, or you seconded, and we all voted. I'm sorry. Got a little distracted there. Do I just need to do it again? Okay, appreciate it, sorry.
Just keep doing, yeah, yeah, come on, come on. I hate making people hop up and down here.
That's all right.
So are we gonna go back in? I'm looking. for
I'd say
guidance
so.
here. So this is a lot of aerobics for our people, but we're gonna go, I'll make a motion to an executive session for 5 minutes, last one. For employee, non-elected personnel matters, for salary discussion. With 3 commissioners and Mr. Martin. Their second. Okay, let's moved and seconded, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, okay, we'll come back at 10:43.
Oh, I'm sorry.
I don't know.
Okay, let's see. We're out of executive session, back in regular, no binding action taken. Appreciate you coming down
Certainly.
to see us so many times today. You made 3 trips. Really do. Thanks a lot. Thank you. Okay,
That's
Okay.
good.
okay, appreciate it.
Thank you, gentlemen. I appreciate you.
Now, is there anything to come in front of the?
Want to turn your mic on?
Sorry about that. Is there anything to come in front of the commission before we can adjourn? And we got a work session today? Okay, I seen none. Is there a motion to adjourn? So move. Is there a second? Okay, it's been moved and seconded. All in favor, say aye.
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 Okay, we'll take a short little, say 3 minute